like this water. You don't even really want this water. Man, I'm like a hurricane that'll burn you, and you don't want this business to concern you.
Back at the hospital, Jay and Mark continue conversating. This is what Jay is telling me. Mark released his restraints, and the nurse enters, and both men look away, feeling guilty mainly because he had released the restraints. The nurse said,
I was coming in to do that, sir.
Jonathan goes on to tell me that he and Mark responded with a single nod, and that Mark went and sat in a chair over by the window. The rain was coming down even harder, and now the lightning was defiantly continuing to crack the sky. The phone in the hospital room began to ring.
Well, someone knows you're about to get out of here.
Jay looks at the nurse as he begins to reach for the phone, but then Mark leaps up and jumps over the chair and says, let me get that. Mark says it's probably Asian. I was supposed to be home a long time ago. That's what Mark said. Oh, Jonathan was really getting on my nerves now, man. I was tired of hearing about Mark. I was tired of hearing about Jonathan. I was tired of hearing him talk about Asia. But something in the story had me hooked. What made this man think that he could come in and tell me that DeMarcus wasn't my boy? Well, Mark kept talking, and he says, hello? No, it's me, Mark. And then he says, yes, Captain. Jay says Captain had called his room. Well, yeah, Captain from Team 901. Mark said, you're pulling up outside? Okay, I'll be down in a minute. Sitting outside of the hospital in the circular drive as the rain is pouring down is a black 2006 Lexus. It's sitting on platinum 30-inch rims. Inside, the two men, one in the back, is exhaling smoke, and in the front, there's a gentleman we know as Captain. The gentleman in the back says, did you call him? Yes, replies the driver. Security guard then pulls up to the driver's side of the Lexus. The tinted window comes down. The security guard says, hey, Captain, give my regards to the chief. Chief, he's the leader of Team 901. Well, really, his name is Melvin. I know the truth, Mr. Lied to. I done been out there. His name is Melvin. He a neighborhood kid who picked up, that name Chief because, he ran, shall we say, the local gambling establishment. He started off with craps, then he moved up in the world and started running numbers. Next thing you know, he started running with the big boys and everybody who got down with him in his motorcycle club, Team 901, made a little change and had a little rep. And they were well respected. Everybody can give out turkeys around Thanksgiving time and get some kind of hood cred. Captain responded to the security guard with a nod. Captain begins rolling up the window, and Chief leans up impatiently from the back, gesturing to his passenger door. Unlock the door. That's what Chief said. Mark's trying to get in. Unlock the door. Yes, Chief, Captain said. Says, hey, Chief, Captain, how are you guys doing? Chief, with a blunt between his fingers, begins to pass it and said, would you like some? Mark shrugs, grabs the blunt, inhales, and then real deeply exhales. That's good. That's good. Captain laughs. Chief starts to talk. Last night I was thinking about expanding my business opportunities and interests, and you came up. Yeah, you came up. Mark smiles and looks over at Chief and then up at Captain and says, I came up. He says, yeah, you came up. Chief says, can you get a good deal on those prepaid cell phones? Mark stops and then nods his head. By this point, I'm really getting irritated with Jonathan. I'm like, what does this have to do with DeMarcus? What does this have to do with you and I? Why are you coming and saying that all of a sudden that DeMarcus is your son? Jonathan looks up at me and says, I'm trying to tell you. Mark had dropped his phone outside in the rain as he went to get in the Lexus with Chief. Chief wanted him to call the chick with the cell phones, the burners that we get. He wanted Mark to call her and get some more phones, and he wanted them at a 901 price, free. Well, Mark now had his job that he had to do. He had the role he had to play, and he had to prove himself too. I'm in the hospital, Jonathan said, and it seemed like my whole world at this point is falling apart. And all I had was the song that you and I produced.
And I'm gonna tell you like this, boy. You don't even really want this war. Man, I'm like a hurricane that'll burn you, and you don't want this business to concern you.
Boy, that Jonathan sure knew how to talk. He was right. All he did have was that song that I had produced, and that was a hit for him. So, I still doesn't excuse him from coming in here and dropping this shit in my lap, for lack of a better word. I exhaled. I sat back and I said, keep telling me the story. You don't have long. My Cavassier was starting to get low, so I had to refresh my drink. Jonathan keeps talking. Damn. Yeah, I can get a hold of her. I can get a hold of the cell phone girl. And we gonna get this deal done. Chief says, all right, call her in the morning. This was the start of something real bad.